I am Interstatal. What's going on, Linda? Thank you for joining Angie's Angles. We're going to give it a minute. Harold, I am Duo Interstatal. And it does not escape this guy that you, Linda, and Harold are viewing me on YouTube. Much appreciated. I thank you kindly. All right, we're going to go. Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Angie's Angles. It is August the 8th in the year of my Lord, 2024. Dialing it up from Smoke Therapy, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. If you're ever in the neighborhood, please stop by and say hello. All right, tonight's episode of Angie's Angles is going to dive into the one enigma, the albatross, the ugly elephant in the room, Pete Alonso. We're going to concentrate on Pete. And how ironic that we're going to be talking about Pete Alonso today when the man went off in Colorado. 3 for 5, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. The guy just showed what he's capable of doing. But sadly, what's going on, Kevin? I am Interstatal. Thanks, Kev, for dialing it in. So, Pete Alonso today hit 2 home runs. We win the game 9-1 in Colorado. We take 2 out of 3. But like I've been saying ad nauseum, the Mets are giving us fool's gold. Hey, Dave, dialing it up from Hyde Park, New York. You still there, Dave? How was dinner, lunch, whatever you did? Beautiful pictures. I appreciate you being here, Dave. So I've been calling the Mets' recent success fool's gold, right? What is fool's gold? You're mining for gold. You're finding ore, a rock, shiny. It's gold. But when you take it in to be evaluated, it's nothing more than just some iron ore that got crystallized and took on a gold hue. If you know what I mean. So the Mets, we go to Los Angeles, we play the Angels, we spit the bit, we take care of the Cardinals. Sorry, Clark. We beat you. Pyrite. Thanks, Kevin. Pyrite is the correct answer. The fool's gold. Pyrite. And then we go into Colorado where we take 2 out of 3. We took the series, but that could have been an easy sweep. Colorado's looking at 34 wins. They're abysmal. And we're in the wild card hunt. And let's talk about that for a second. We're in the wild card hunt, but so are the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this is what's wrong with baseball today. The expansion to allow so many teams late in the season to have a shot to make the playoffs is just absolutely insanity. I mean, I don't agree with it. I can't get behind it. I can't wrap my head around it. I can't accept it. Gone are the days where you outright win your division and the second best record in that whole league, the American League or the National League, gets in, right? So you have 4 teams from the American League and 4 teams from the National League. Now you got a gazillion teams. I mean, it's insanity. So what are we looking at? 6-6 now, I suppose, right? Because there's 3 wild card teams. And whoever wins their division is 3 divisions in each league. I mean, it's just, it's horrible. It's awful. I don't accept it. I don't stand behind it. Harold, I'm sure you could chime in. Kevin, you as well, Dave and Linda, tell me what your thoughts are on that, right? Because why should a team that is basically hovering above the 500 mark get into the playoffs? Now, that's happened in the past in the old system, but, i.e., what was it? I believe it was the Philadelphia Phillies or the St. Louis Cardinals, perhaps. They had a record of, let's call it this 162 games, so let's call it, 87 and 75, right? 87 and 75, that's not even 10 games over 500. Hey, Cousin Jeannie, I am quintuple interstatal. Thanks for joining us, Jeannie and Phil. I appreciate you guys. Special shout out to Colin. How are you, champ? So Kevin is voting a 0 for the wild card. Harold, he'll never say no to more baseball, but it does seem a little convoluted. Where's your competitiveness to win the division outright? You have an opportunity, if you get off to a hot start in April and May, to rest your key guys throughout the season as long as you're within that equation of wild cardness. And the good thing is now we're 7.5 games behind Philadelphia. They didn't play tonight. If they lose tonight, we'll be 7 games out of first. And that's what I want to see. I want to see us win the division. But again, I digress. Yes, as a fan, as a baseball guy, I want the New York Mets to come out on top. Beat all their competitors. But you're not going to do it, Pyrite. Oh, my goodness. We are quintuple interstatal, and we're getting a rare appearance from one Michael Gagliano. Belated happy birthday wishes to you, my son. And let's put him on the big screen. He's saying, wouldn't this encourage more buy-in from the lesser markets? It allows a little bit more marketing and buzz for the teams that, quote-unquote, have a chance. Mike, I'm not going to say you're wrong, right? It gives their fan base something to hoot and holler for. Puts a couple more fannies in the seats, perhaps. But that's kind of like everybody gets a trophy. And I don't believe in that. And today's society is very much like that. Little League has become very much like that. There's no more killer instinct. James Krause is in the house. We're having a who's who of who's who showing up on Angie's Angles on the 8th of August. Much love to you, James, and the family. So, I digress a little bit from the subject line and subject matter. So let's kind of go in. I'm not gonna be able to see the comments for a minute or two as I post my numbers and my graphs. Bear with me. All right, this is one Pete Alonso. Now, this kind of surprised me when I looked at some of these numbers, per se, and not necessarily the overview, because I've been watching the Mets ad nauseum, and I know exactly what Pete has and has not done. But here's something that is kind of shocking to me, that against left-handed pitching, he's batting .239, but against right-handed pitching, he's batting .243. You say, okay, Ange. It's 4 percentage points. 0.004 percentage point difference. But the point of the matter is, against left-handed pitching, he's a right-handed batter. He should be destroying it. And he's not. As you can see, against left-handed pitching, he's got 7 home runs compared to 16 against right-handed pitching. Now, mind you, you face more right-handed pitching throughout the season than you do left-handed. They're a novelty, a left-handed pitcher. But the fact of the matter is, you every time you see left-handed pitcher, you should absolutely crush it. So here's his batting average with runners in scoring position. It's the third down, RISP, runners in scoring position. 97 games, 106 at-bats. 4 home runs, folks. 4. Count them, 4. And batting a paltry 198. That is absolutely unacceptable with runners in scoring position. Now, with runners on base, he's batting a tad better. .010 percentage points better at 208. That's still awful. Now, here's my point. Kevin first, then I became a disciple. I was, and I supported, and I promoted Pete Alonso, putting him in the top echelon of baseball players the last 5 years. However, Pete Alonso's turning into a modern-day David Wright, not clutch. And let me back up that statement, right? Base is empty. Nobody on base. Look at this. 13 home runs. Now he's got 25 on the season. He had 2 today. It's not in this graph. They didn't real time it. But look at this for a second, if you will. Base is empty. 13 home runs. Runners on base, 10 home runs. But base is empty. He's batting .269. But here's something that's interesting. Right? That .269. It's for naught, really. It produces 13 RBIs. He struck out 57 times. I mean, either that means he was leading off the inning because he batted fourth a lot. Now they're switching things up. They had him third. Now they're having him fifth. He's getting more of an opportunity. Well, let's go to the next graph. Bases loaded. Bases loaded, 0 home runs and 4 RBIs in 24 games and 9 at-bats. Batting a $111. Precious situation. We need Pete to do something. I mean, this is just unacceptable. And then late inning pressure. He got 56 at-bats with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and batting a $161. Again, we could see this. No pressure. There's no outs. He's batting .280. But give him 1 out, he drops to .237, and God forbid you give him 2 outs. He's batting .203. And it's just awful. It's awful. Kevin Elliott, I am a disciple. He's swinging at pitches out of the strike zone in the dirt, up at his earlobe. Now today, not for nothing, he had a monster game, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, 2 home runs. But it's also Coors Field batting against a team pitching staff that's got 34 wins. You know, you can't really hang your hat on his game today. Nor can you hang your hat on the New York Mets. Let's take a minute. As I stated, The Mets just overtook the Atlanta Braves for second place in the National League. 7.5 games off of Philly. A lot of games to be played. We got the entire month of August and September. It's a lot of games. We're going to see some soft teams, and we're going to see some very tough teams. And I'm concerned because we're going to be playing against the Miami Marlins, who are beating teams with a fire sale of a team. And Kevin will tell you, well, maybe that was the best thing happened for the Marlins. And Kevin, chime in. Thank you, Jeannie. I appreciate you. I like it too, and I think I'm keeping it. I didn't like that dark black studio look. This is much more engaging, lively. It's as if I'm sitting right outside in front of the Tom Seaver statue, which still sucks, by the way. So, getting back to Pete Alonso, I posted a question. Let me put it up for everybody. Here's my question tonight, and I need some answers. Dave, Harold, Linda, Kevin, Mike, chime in. James Krause, chime in. Does Pete Alonso stay with the Mets? If yes, what's the year's dollar amount? If no, same question. And where or who does he sign with? I'm going to give you some opinions. I'm going to go with this. And let's remember for a second, Pete dumped his representation and signed with Scott Boras. Harold, you're trying to get my blood pressure up. Joe Alberti, thanks for joining us. I didn't say I wouldn't pay him, Joe. I wouldn't pay him what he thinks he deserves, and here's my number. He's been a huge power-hitting first baseman for the last 5 years that he's been in the league. Most home runs hit in the last 5 years, that is this year excluded, that he's been in the league. I give him 5 years, $150. Kevin wants to give him 3 years, $75 for the Mets. He's not going to take 3 years. He might not even take 5 years, but if I want Pete Alonso, I do that. And throw in the option of freaking, opt out after 2.5 years if that's what you want, if you think you're going to go off and hit a gazillion home runs, Pete. But another thing that's very part of the process. Who is Pete Alonso? Who is he in the clubhouse? Who is he as a teammate? Who is he as a chemistry guy in that lineup? He just came off an interview, and I wish I was able to grab it. I'm still learning how to grab video. I'm going to get there, I promise you. I'm signing up to a video editor. I'm going to Google it, and a couple of students at work are going to help me. John Draghi. What? I got the Skanky fans coming on to Angie's Angles. I love it. Welcome, John. Joe and John, you're always welcome. No problems. Pete Alonso just came off an interview. They asked him, Pete, you're really not producing like you used to produce. You're having subpar year in terms of Pete Alonso's name, right? He goes, well, no, I don't think so. I'm on pace to hit 40 home runs. I'm on pace to get 100 RBIs. I was an all-star. Hold the horses! You were an all-star because of Rob Manfred put you there. Because you said you will not participate in the home run derby unless you are on the all-star team, Pete. You were by far not an all-star, not today, not tomorrow, not yesterday. You were not an all-star this season, Pete Alonso. Let's be real. And if you had any teammate in you If you had a brotherhood in you, when they came to nominate you and put you in the All-Star game, you should have said, guys, I'm going to take the 4 days, redefine who I am, rework my swing, look at tapes, have an extra donut or two. But I think Nimmo or Lindor deserve it above me. And then you let Giles pitch to you, Pete. For God's sakes, if you're that hard up for a batting practice pitcher, I'm available. And I'll throw your BBs right down the plate, big guy. Not these high-arcing pitches that Giles, who is he, 72 years old, couldn't get over the plate. And last year, too, but let's be fair, when he won it, Giles was his pitcher, Kevin. Harold's giving credence to my statement. That's an important issue. Ball players are ball players. Until you talk about signing them long term, then the chemistry must be present. So here's what I'm going to do. We're at the 8:51 mark, and I'm loving this. This has been, I'm really comfortable. This is one of my better podcasts. I like it. We're going to do this more often. We're going to take a subject matter. We're going to blow it up. We're going to get your input. We're going to have interaction. 5 years, 150. Take it or leave it. Not a penny more, not a year more. 150 equates to $30 million. That's paying you gratitude for the last 5 years. And if you don't like it, Scott Boras and you can get on your train and get out of town, Pete Alonso. Looks like I'm getting fans calling in. Sorry about that. My phone just went off. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Rob Manfred. Maybe it was Pete Alonso calling the defender's ass. Maybe I'm going to have to find that Prince David. I'm going to have to try to do that. Joe wants to talk about Nimmo. Why are we talking about that stuff? He doesn't mean anything. And if they pay him $30 million a year, they're out of their minds. He stinks. Joe, you can't say he stinks, Joe. Last 5 years, the most home runs hit in the majors. Fact. Okay, Joe? Stays on the field. Fact, Joe. Not Aaron Judge, who gets hurt endlessly. And I'm not jinxing Judge. He's having a phenomenal season. MVP caliber, no doubt in my mind. But you can't say Pete stinks, Joe. You can't say it. He's not at Aaron Judge level anymore, like I stated a couple of podcasts ago, but he's certainly a power god for sure. Consistent 40-plus home runs. So Prince David is asking what kind of run are the Mets going to make, in my estimation. Kevin saying those 5 years, no World Series. Listen, you can't do that. You can't do that. Ernie Banks, Fergie Jenkins, Roberto Clemente. These were great guys. Ralph Kiner when he played for the Pirates. Okay? They didn't make it to the World Series either, Kevin. So one guy cannot bring a team to the World Series. It's got to be a team effort. That's what baseball's so great. It's a team effort. So anyways. Brandon, I didn't see you sneak on. Brandon wants to say, Angie, for MVP, I am. Say 2 bullets to Stadel. A little programming note. I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. You all must know about it by now. I posted it on Facebook. Angelo Jr. is going to be going to Greece to study biomed at the American College of Greece. We depart on September the 4th. We're returning September the 13th. Covers 2 Thursdays. I'm going to be overseas. I got to figure out the time difference is 7 hours. I got to figure out when my podcast is going to happen. We might have to alter it for those 2 weeks. But not really sure. Not really sure what we're going to do. So you're going to have to stay tuned. All right. Let me go back to the comments real quick. Billy Williams and Ron Santo, thanks, Harold. Never made it to the series. So sad, right? High quality baseball players. It doesn't mean that you're not contributing to get there. It's the rest of your guys spit the bit. All right, I need to take a couple minutes before we get into the prayer circle. We get a little update on Mark Brooks' situation down in Mooresville, North Carolina. They arrived back at their home. Their burnt home. I posted some images on Facebook. As you know, we started a GoFundMe, and I want to thank everybody. Beyond generous, and I appreciate everybody that donated. Mark just filled out the paperwork so he and his family could collect that money directly. It didn't go through my hands. I was just the conduit to get him the money, and everybody that contributed, and a lot of you contributed with prayers, and you can't put a price on the prayers either. So please, it's hard times. If you couldn't spare the money, I get it. I understand that. The prayers are more than welcomed. He felt them. He received them. That's awesome. Okay. I think overall, he's gotten close to $700. That's I have to give a shout out to Wardy, New York Mets. He's a YouTuber. He's got a gazillion followers. I contacted him because Mark, I guess Mark is friends with Wardy and me. He made both of us walking sticks. And when I saw that Wardy knew Mark, Wardy was right away absolutely help. Whatever I could put it on my show, I'll announce it. So kudos to Wardy. He had a couple of followers chime into my fundraiser, my GoFundMe. So thank you to his followers. Perhaps you could become my followers. We're not really competitors. We do it different. But we greatly appreciate it. And like I said, Mark was told in about 2 days that money will hit his account. I didn't touch any of that money. Just so we all know that. Whoever donated, again, a million thanks. So Mark and his family, his wife Tony, Antoinette, and Naya, and Ava Lee, they got back. Their toys are gone. Their dolls are gone. Their school clothes are gone. The local community had a fundraiser for the girls. They got them new clothes, new school stuff, a backpack, books, pens, pencils, whatever you needed. And they're good. They're staying at a Marriott currently. The insurance company has them back up, has them in a Marriott. Mark's intent is to rebuild on the property that burnt down. It was arson. They've arrested the arsonist. The arsonist is facing a slew of not to mention a crime against the firefighters, because it's a crime to be an arson. And if the firefighters fighting that arson get injured or hurt, some severe charges against you for obvious reasons, right? So God bless the firemen that got there quick. Sadly, they really couldn't save the house. It happened at 3:30 in the morning. So by the time they got there, the fire was pretty rampant. So that's an update on my buddy Mark Brooks. Right into the prayer circle. And again, please remember, I got hat head. All right. If you have a prayer request, you could publicly post it for me to address, or you can send me a private DM on Facebook. Some of you have my cell phone, so send me a text and we'll include it. Harold, we're praying for Dawn Squared, wife and co-worker, your friend Ed, as he's now being able to go, he's getting good results. Your good friend Carol and her husband Bob on his continued dialysis. Scott Tobias, who's got an upcoming birthday. We're wishing your wife and your mom well as they face their battles, their daily challenges. Linda Stein, we're praying for your dad, my friend. And we're praying that your job gets easier. That Linda is like me, a workaholic. She does midnight shifts. She does 24-hour shifts, for God's sakes. And she cares more than you know about her employees and her business. So, Linda, we're praying for you for that. Kevin, as you face your continued health challenges down in Hollywood, Florida. Krause family, we're praying for Aubrey as she remains in remission and fights the ugly C word. Martha, my coworker at Adelphi University. You're getting stronger and stronger as the days go on, Martha. Clark, we're praying for your brother-in-law, Brad, as he gets continued good results and he deals with his hernia issue now. Deb and Lee down in Maryland, continue prayers for Lee. Coach Courtney, brother-in-law Calvin, and sister Pat, we pray for you guys. Ray Capers, as you recover from your surgery. Fred from the Smoke Lounge at Smoke Therapy. He had an operation on his rotator cuff. And he's going to be facing another one on his other shoulder. We pray for you. Ray Hughes, as you face your health concerns and challenges, my friend. Mr. McGowan, sir, we have your 6 as you battle that ugly, ugly, ugly C word. Marianne Bello, we're praying for you out there in Las Vegas. My very, very good friend from Oshad High School. And we're praying for your mom. Big John here at Smoke Therapy. We're praying for your friend Irene, Phil's Nona, and your cousin Richie. Tom, another buddy from Smoke Therapy. We're praying for your friend Paul as he battles his cancer treatments. Scott, we're praying for your brother Craig. Jimmy, we're praying for your friend Charles Sr.'s son Charles Jr. as he recovers from liver transplant. Larry, we're praying for your wife Frida as she battles her cancer. We're going to pray for my niece Ava Gabrielle, as she studies abroad in Italy, much like Angela studying abroad in Greece. And let's throw Angie into that mix, right? And we'll continue it as we go up to the thing. And of course, last but not least, we're praying for Mark Brooks and his wonderful family. People, I've come across a lot of people on Facebook and in my life. I've been in hospitality my entire existence. I've run into a lot of people. When I met Mark Brooks, I felt uneasy. He put me on this pedestal. What a great podcast. You're a hell of a guy. You're a baseball fanatic. I'm just like Mark. I'm just like you, Mark. I'm just like Joe Alberti and Linda and James and Kevin and Prince David and James and Harold and my son Michael, Brandon. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. John Draghi, you Skanky fan. I'm no different. My cousin Gene, I'm no different than any of you. I'm not anything. I don't pretend to be anything. I just have a passion and a platform. That's all I need. You put me in front of a cell phone camera and I'm going to be the same crazy guy. And by the grace of God, I've met some really nice people. Brett, Kevin has helped me. My cousin Jeannie's been there to support me as I at the loss of my parents. Harold, we originally met on Twitter before it was X. James Krause through baseball, Joe Alberti through baseball. Joe Alberti was Danny's coach for many, many, many years. And Joe Alberti, I've said this, is a better savant on the game of baseball than I am, and I think I'm a pretty heavy savant. But Joe Alberti tells it like it is with the baseball, except for he's a little off on the Pete Alonso situation. We call that skankyitis, right? He can't give Pete Alonso a Met any credit. But it's humbling when I get the kindness from all of you, whether it's a great show, Ange, or I didn't know about that guy you taught me about something today. You know, I try to share my knowledge of what I know, and sometimes what I don't know. But because of all of you is what makes me me. I don't make me me. You make me me, and I want to be clear on that. And so I'm trying to tie this all together before we go. When I met Mark Brooks and his granddaughters, Ava Lee and Anaya, they asked me to sign the bill of the Met baseball. I said, guys, that's very nice of you, but my name is Angelo Gagliano, Angie's Angles. That's who I am. But it tickled me. It touched my heart. It touched my heart that they enjoy the show. They enjoy my passion. And if we could all do that one time a day, one time, the world's going to get just a little bit better. So I'll end it there. I thank you all. You giving me your time on a Thursday night, every Thursday night for now, 3.5 years. September is going to be like October is going to be 3.5 years of doing this. I started April 1st. It was April Fool's Day. Kind of poetic. That was the day my grandmother sadly passed away in 1987. I was her firstborn grandchild on my mom's side. So the date is pretty significant to me. Again, if I had one viewer, I'd be here. But God gives me all of you from time to time that tune in, and you might watch me post. So I appreciate you. And Mark thinks I'm funny, so I appreciate. I don't know. I don't mean to be funny, but I guess maybe I'm funny looking, perhaps. We're at the 908 mark. It's my pleasure to come here every Thursday night. I'm honored. Good night. God bless. Join us next week for another Angie's Angles. Good night. God bless. I love you.